Hi, Dan here, Amazing Framer. I'm going to show you how to install a flush beam in a floor truss system. I'll turn the camera and I will show you how it looks on the layout. All right, here's our second floor, which I'm working on. You'll see right here, this is in the blue. It's a beam. They've actually labeled it beam 2 flush, which means flush means it's up in the floor system, which makes it a top chord hung floor trusses, all these. So now I'll show you exactly what these are, how these look, how this top chord looks, and then I'll show you how I prepare for that. All right, here's a truss, and this is top chord hung. So these trusses are 16 inches in depth. That varies. And this here is the top chord. It's 2-ply, so that means it's 3 inches in depth. So the remainder here is 13 inches, and I'll show you how that goes together. This is where the beam goes now. It's flush, so that means it's in the floor system. So it's in this cavity. All right, here's the beam. This beam is 12 inches. If you remember, the floor truss was 16 inches. It had 2-ply top chord hung, which makes 3 inches. So 16 minus 3 is, you guessed it, 13 inches. So I need to build this beam up 1 inch. Cut it already. Here's my 1-inch piece. I'll apply it to the top of the beam on the inside. All right, that's the inside furred up 1 inch. Now that tongue goes to the outside of the beam, so I have one more piece to install. All right, you'll notice this is notched. It's ready notched to be on the layout. It's notched. These notches are where each floor truss is going to be, and I've already added, if I do it like this, I've added the squash block. Because typically what you would have to do if I didn't notch this like this, you would have to add your 2x4 squash blocks. So this is simply 1 inch here, it's 1 inch here, plus the 3 inches for the tongue. And now I'll just fasten it. I'm out of nails. Quick look close up. This is the 1-inch piece I added, and this is the outside piece where I've made a notch for every one of the top chords, tongues, slip through right to the exterior of the building, and that means when the tongue sits in here, this will be perfectly flush. This is how it looks when it's finished. This is that notched piece. And then on the inside, this is that 1-inch piece. Again, here's our layout. This is the flush beam that I'm going to install with you. It's labeled beam 1F, so it's beam 1 flush. Beam 1 flush, if I come down here, is 1 3/4 by 9.5 LVL. So I find that beam, and it's in my floor package, and I'll cut it to length, and I'll go install it. Another thing I need to point out is they labeled this hanger, so they show that the hanger where it is going to be fastened to the floor truss, and then the beam comes over to my bearing wall that I have built, and they labeled this hanger 3925. So in my package they ship all these hangers and so on, so I'll find this and go install. We're going to install this beam. Things we need: we'll need the hanger, which I found out of the box of hangers, 5925. Hanger nailer, if you don't want to nail all your hanger nails by hand. Framing square. What I need to do is find where this beam falls on this here floor truss. It's 4'10" from the outside edge of this wall. The beam is 3.5 inches wide, so 4'10" plus 3.5, 5'1.5". I always install, sorry about the truck there. I always install my beams flush with the bottom. That way I don't have to frame it down later or whatever. Just try to make it a general practice to go to the bottom. I gotta grab my hanger nail. All right. Hanger nailer, flush with the bottom. I was smart enough to take a reload of nails. I like to put one of my 3¼ inch nails in. That means this hanger's not moving, ever. My framing square right into the basement. It's probably no longer square. All right, I'll grab the beam. But before I grab the beam, PL400. You want to try avoid squeaks wherever possible in your floor system, so we put a little on here. On the edges, on the bottom, up the side. We put this stuff on everything. Check out my wine advent calendar video. I'll tell you where we put it. Okay, beam. Alright, that fit good. Fasten it over here. I always like 3 inches of bearing on my beams. The hanger that I put here actually has 2 holes for a hanger nail. One on this side, and then there's one right here. That's it, it's installed. Now I'll have to fur it up. This is again a flush, the flush beam. This beam is 9.5. So, if you remember, the floor trusses were 16 inches. 2-ply top cord hung, which means you take 3 inches off that height. So 16 minus 3 is 13 inches. So my total height for where my tongue has to sit is 13 inches. So 9.5 plus 3.5 is 13. So I'll go find that piece and install it. All right, found the piece. That's piece 1. That's piece 2. I'll get to that in a minute. This piece will go on the inside. Toenail it in. My second piece. So now you see how we're flush with the top, and then this is where the tongue of the floor trusses will come. There's 2 that sit on this beam. Flush with the outside. Make it look all pretty. And that's it. One more look.